Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. All of our channels and networks. Mike Morales in soggy Southern California. That young man out there is.
Hi everyone, this is Felipe, and I'm in a very misty Canuden in Essex, England.
Felipe and I are kind of beside ourselves because we have been hoarding this tequila for months. This is called Buen Vato. If you're not familiar with this tequila, or you may have seen it in the UK, you're probably very familiar with it in Sweden. This tequila is primarily exported to Sweden and for the Swedes. And as we go through the tasting, we'll give you all the ins and outs. What's really unusual about this tequila is two things. One, of course, it's European bottling. That means it's 38 ABV. Secondly, we did some note taking and found out that this tequila is considered a mixto. So that means it is bottled and blended, supposedly, in well, not blended necessarily, but at least bottled and then brought down to 38 ABV in Sweden. So I just say we break open the
Go for it.
Break it open. Again, everything about this packaging is sustainable. It's all recyclable, except of course the tequila.
Well, technically.
Well, yeah, technically. I mean, if you know, I'm going to pour mine in my Stasso Jarrito. This is wow, look at how it's got some body to it. It's got lingering bubbles. I say that I'm a little surprised because technically this is a mixto, and but it's got some good legs and tears. I poured mine in my Stasso Jarrito, and Felipe did the same. And what are you getting on your end?
Well, it's pretty crystal clear, isn't it? It's
yeah. I'm waiting for some legs and tears. It's being pretty stubborn right now. There we go. There it goes. It's a bit shiny.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure whether it's the light in the room that was doing it, but it's looking promising, isn't it?
I like to sometimes I'll see this kind of luminescence, and I'll say that it's mercurial. You know, it looks a little bit like mercury. If you've ever held mercury in a vial, it's cool.
I've only had it in my hands.
No, you don't want to do that. I remember as a kid, there was always some wag who had a vial of mercury, and he goes, "Here, hold this." And it's heavy, you know. But it's like, we were stupid. We didn't know that if you undid it, you opened it up, you were in trouble. So sorry for the shakiness in my camera. I'm not sure what that is. I'm trying to, hopefully as we go along, it'll clear itself up. But if you're listening to this on the audio, no problems. Oh my. Huh.
That's that really does remind me of something now.
Well,
of
there was some denseness in there. There was now I'll read you the information that we get on the on the website, because they don't actually have any POS material, point of sale material. But again, sorry folks, for those of you watching, I'm hoping that it clears itself up, or maybe on the video you won't actually see it. But on the audio we don't have a problem, so let's just go with audio for now. You know, at first whiff, Felipe, it kind of got dense, and now it's brightening up.
Yes, there's a nice bit of, there's a sweetness to that coming straight through, like a vanilla.
Yeah.
It's
there's also a fair amount of alcohol for a 38 ABV, but then again, to be fair, this has been sitting on my living room floor for weeks. I mean, weeks. They moved heaven and earth to get these samples to us, by the way.
It's quite a smooth kind of cream smell. There's a I
Yeah.
quite like the alcohol smell to it. It's not overpowering. Oh, that's yeah, it's changing.
Well, as it opens up, I mean, there was some denseness to the liquid to begin with. And again, you folks may not be able to see this on my camera because my camera is acting a little wonky, but there's really now thick legs and tiers. It's streaming into the liquid. And I noticed that it was quite bright. And it is taking its own sweet time to open up a little bit. Now, to look at this is again the container is cardboard. All of this is literally almost like an industrial grade recyclable carton, and but that's not where the juice is. The juice is actually in a plastic container that is also recyclable, and so this is what it kind of imitates what the bottle would look like had this been a glass bottle.
Yeah, I know. I read up on that. It's something like 94%. I don't know if it's 94% recyclable or made of 94% recyclable material. So they've sort of really banged onto that, sort of removing the whole glass and flying the environmental flag, aren't they, for that one? So, I mean, if it helps, if it works, no problem.
Yeah, well, you know, even the there's no, you know, sometimes we'll get like a synthetic cork that will leach into a mezcal or a tequila, and you get that weird medicinal rubber latex kind of flavor. None of that is evident in this.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time I had this kind of a mixto was tequileño, and I forget who it was that I did that tasting with, but I remember one of our consumer catador graduates, Bryce. I threw him a curveball, and for his final, I ordered him a tequileño mixto to break down with me because I had it before, and I really like the nose on this.
But mine's gone into almost like a pepper. Like a pepper or like a mint kind of takes the back of the nose, which it wasn't like that a couple of minutes ago at all.
No, it continues to evolve in the glass. Yes,
it had like a hint of almost like caramel, but now that's almost gone.
Well, if it's caramel, now again, tequileño, when theirs is a 70-30 mixto, that means it's 70%, 100% blue agave, right? And then 30% piloncillo, which is the Mexican brown sugar. And so when you said caramel, I thought, well, maybe it doesn't tell us what they're using as their sugar, as their we don't even know what the percentages are. We don't know if it's 51-49 or 60-40, 70-30. We don't know. They don't tell
all
us.
it says is that it goes gets shipped out, doesn't to Europe, and then gets reduced from like 55% down to 38. So what that reducing, yeah,
you know, my
could be Smirnoff.
Well, my understanding is that, you know, when you ferment the mixto, you know, you do that in Mexico. I've never heard of a mixto. Well, Jose Cuervo is 80 proof, so you know, we go there, but then they have to reduce it for European bottling anyway. So that, I guess it kind of makes sense. So it shows up in Sweden or Europe as 55 ABV, which is still strength.
Yeah.
And then they water it down. I say we dive in. This is really sensing like it's real, like almost like 100%.
Oh, Well, that bite comes in. It comes on really smooth, doesn't it? Then get a
Yeah,
really
it's
big
at
hit of
the
agave across the tongue.
yeah. To be honest with, and I know Felipe, as far as I know, Tequileño is available in Europe, correct?
I don't know it. I don't know of it.
I thought that they had worldwide distribution, so I'm almost positive it's available in Europe.
Right.
And their Mixto has a brown sugar aftertaste that I'm not getting on this. There's no sugary aftertaste or even agave syrup aftertaste.
No. It's quite fresh, really. There's a bit of a, I don't know. It comes on fresh, but like afterwards, there's a bit, I can feel a bit like a, hold on.
Yeah, it requires a second pass.
Mm. Yeah, I got more alcohol in that one than the second one.
Mm. Well, it's behaving like a Mixto.
Mm.
You know, where every sip is different. You know, that it goes from smooth to with a bite to smooth with a bite. I remember last time I had Hornitos that way. Granted, it was a cold day in Colorado where I was, you know, doing shots of Hornitos, literally doing shots. And every shot from the same bottle was different.
Yeah. Well, the third swig of that was different from the first two. It's the more, maybe because it's coated in my mouth, but there's more of a, the first sip, say, was smooth, and then it comes up, the tongue just started like popping candy.
Yes.
With the agave came in.
Well, it's
and
the pepper, you know, it explodes in your mid palate like it's supposed to, right?
Yeah, the second one, it was sooner. This one was just straight away. The third one was just straight away on there.
And I noticed in the rear of the palate, toward the sides, there was a little bit of a bitterness, you know, with that bite at the end. I mean, the finish is pretty long. That's a long finish.
It is good. Like, it's quite peppery at the end, and it just trails off. But it gets more alcohol, alcoholic. The more you have it.
It's got a lot of character. It's pretty bold for a 38 ABV.
Mm.
I would say this would be great for a cocktail.
Yeah, I can't imagine. This is not, if I had someone around and they said I'd pour us something, I don't think I'd just sip on this one. This would go in something.
Yeah,
sure.
and
It's not a sipping tequila.
No, it's not. And I think it was designed to not be. Right now, while we're filming this, recording this, one of our other TJs, Matt Metris, he's in Europe. I forget where. I want to say he's in London. He's in England. And he walked into a place called Locos Tacos or something like that. And he showed, he if you watch his Instagram, he's got a picture of the menu. And the menu, you know, first of all, I would worry about any place. Oh no, it's called Loco Mexicano. It's a taco place, I guess, or, you know, Mexican food place. And I'm not exactly sure where it's located in London somewhere, or somewhere in England. And he took a picture of the menu. And the title of the menu says Tequila Slammers. So I imagine that there are still places in Europe where people are still slamming tequila, man. Why is that?
Yeah, it's Anglo-Saxon, that's why.
So long?
That's why, especially in England, it's just what you do. It's just like, you don't, there's the nuance and the joy of spirits is when you probably hit about 32. When you're younger, it's not about that. It's a culture, it's just a drinking culture. It's just, you know, so yeah, tequila. to say to people, you don't ever, I mean, we never had this conversation so many times over the years. Like, you just don't slam them. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not what it's designed. It's not what it's made for. You know. And
Yeah.
they're always mixtos as well. Like, you want the cheapest thing because it's not about taste and nuance. It's about how quickly can you hit the floor.
How quickly? Well, when you talk about Sweden, I know that there's weather, of course, in Sweden. That's not always cold, but I imagine those. I have a few friends in the U.S. who are of Swedish background, and they talk about some of the stuff they make for Christmas, and they drink, and it's like, oh my God! I think one of my old partners, as a matter of fact, he said it was called glug glug or something, or I don't know.
Okay.
His actual name, his last name is Borgstrom, and so and they would make this for Christmas. It's like this celebratory, alcoholic, fire on your tongue. I think he made it once for me, and I had a sip of this stuff, and it's like, holy cow, that stuff's just rough, man.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, of course, is that we find with I found when I first went out to the US, I ordered something like a Bud, and I insisted that it was serving me Bud Light because the beer over here is stronger completely.
oh yeah.
There's biologically there's a bigger tolerance for it. So, it is almost like a rite of passage to go out and see how much you can drink and can you get home.
Well, the U.S. is not unlike that, although they have been cracking down of late. But
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the U.S. is the bastard child of Europe, isn't it? So
you can make rum, we can make rum, that kind of thing. I will say that the nose is really good on this thing. It just
I prefer that to the taste, to be fair.
Yeah,
to the flavor.
I do too.
The smell it's deceiving. It smells nothing like it tastes. I mean, I'm getting that kind of like in the if you eat a Big Mac at McDonald's and you get that kind of like chest bit there.
That's a little acid reflux.
That might just be my age,
Yeah, it could be. It could be. You can't eat that McDonald's, hamburger like you could when you were younger. For a mixto, it's actually very, very drinkable. But you're right; it's not made to be sipped. It's made to be mixed in cocktails. I think for a 38 ABV, I'm impressed with how much character there really is. How bold it is. Because I think it would stand up to we just had National Margarita Day, so I'm sure it would stand up to a margarita.
See, now that last sip I had, it was quite earthy with it as well. It's quite.
Yeah,
it's getting heavier. The more I drink it, the heavier it's getting. It's getting
denser. Yes, but see, I got that denseness on the nose at the beginning. I mean, when again, these bottles have been sitting like on my living room floor for weeks. These people moved heaven and earth, and then lots of things happened in between, and we finally get around to tasting this. And plus, again, you can only, as far as I know, it's only available in Sweden right now, unless they're starting to move it into the UK. But let me read you some of the information, just so you folks get an idea how unique this packaging is. And I'll have to read you everything you need to know is on the back, but they also have a QR code here. If you snap that, if you're looking at that, you can snap that on your phone and you can get to the website. And the website has a lot more information on it. It says this tequila is made of a combination of agave and sugarcane that slowly ferments without accelerators. Okay. And also to give you the NOM number on that, it's NOM 1459. It is Tequila Selecto Amatitan. I happened to check before we came on. Nuda Tequila comes out of there. Manique, Insolente. Some of these are very visible here in Southern California. El Hijo de Mis Amores, which we've had before, which kind of leans toward the sweeter side. Escortauro we had, and it was not good at all. Not to us anyway. That particular. That was just in fact, if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and watch the video that we did. Eric and I did that video, and it was just not anything that we thought of. But it's a Cali Rosa comes out of there, and Blue Nectar. Blue Nectar is also one that we've had before, and Asombroso Ultra Fino. So there are some really, it's a fairly large maquiladora, but also there are some Derechito, which we're going to do the tasting on shortly, their new version. So there's some winners and some dogs that come out of that distillery. There's some dogs, I'm not going to lie to you, but every distillery's got a few dogs. Even La Cofradia, which is probably the most reputable maquiladora, in Mexico, will have some great winning tequilas and some real dogs. So honestly,
I got it. Sorry, I know what it reminds me of.
Okay, go for it.
It reminds me of the tequila I started drinking when I was younger.
Well, there you go.
Like, the Cuervo, you get like the Classico. I don't know what it's like out in the States, but over here it's like a blue square bottle, blue kind of label, made with Blue Weber, not 100%, but it's Blue Weber. That. It's that.
Again, they don't tell us what the percentage of Blue Weber is. I'd say if you had just nosed it, I'd say it was close to 100%. But not knowing the actual percentages, it'd be hard to tell.
Oh, I'll say this though, I don't think I can drink anymore. I'm going to try. It's just.
Well, I could nose it all day.
See, now all I'm getting is, it's like someone trying to put a pork ball in your mouth. Like, there it is. There's no nuance. There's no subtlety now. It's just all dumped.
Well, yeah, but it is what it is, right? I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they say take it for what it is. It's if it's for cocktails, then fine. But
yeah, or if you just want to do a shooter, because you're freezing your butt off in Sweden somewhere. I don't know. I think it's a good start. I'd like to see more. First of all, I love the packaging. I think I'm going to go brand of promise nominee in the packaging. It's very sustainable, very unique.
I think it'd be wrong to not to put that in for that, because regardless of what's inside, the bottle, the packaging is,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant packaging. It really is.
If it's cheaper to get it sent over to Europe and packaged there, etc., than it is to do it wherever, just on money saving cost is one thing, but doing it like this as well, I mean, it has to be commended regardless.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. They are. Let me quickly get into their website, and I'll be able to tell you. There we go. It says agave is cooked in a pressure cooker, an autoclave, and slowly fermented without accelerators. Distillation is performed in stainless steel pot stills. Buen Vato is high in agave, but not 100%. High in agave, well, then we can say it's over 51%.
Yeah.
Okay. But since we are on the mission to minimize the environmental impact, instead of bottling in Mexico, 100% can only be bottled in Mexico, we transport tequila at 55 ABV, blend it to a 38 in Europe, where the bottling is done. We have been particularly cautious about taking away all taste modifiers, such as glycerin and sugars, to present the real thing. In our work, we value the taste equally as we praise the sustainability factor. It's up to you to tell us if we have done a good job. We hope you enjoy it. They give the tasting notes, but I don't want to go in there. Let's see if I can. I know that there was some information here that I wanted to stress. If you go to their website, they have a blog where they talk about stuff like sustainability, pollution of air, water, and waste management, which is right where I live, waste management. They believe things can change. There is a better way.
I did check out the who runs it. It's run by a company called Alias Smith, which is founded by a load of environmental engineers. So yeah, they come from the background of environmental engineering. So
It says, we took part in the Swedish beverage industry's climate initiative to help improve our distribution network's carbon footprint. I would say investigate these guys. I know that we've been talking with Omar Corona Gonzalez, Mayra Zapata, Claes Puebla Smith. All three of these folks have been on our email communications. Sandra Zapata as well. I mean, they're all mainly Hispanic. they're all Mexican. I mean, you know, at least they could be, but they're all definitely Latinos. I'd say, you know, follow them on their Facebook, their Instagram. They're on to something, okay? And I am all for sustainability, especially now with supposedly tequila wanting to overtake vodka, and lately in the last just in this week alone that we're recording this, we're seeing articles about how the agave is so under stress now. CNN has taken issue with that, you know, that you can't stress this plant so much. You know, here in California, there is an initiative to grow blue agave and other agaves for not only distilled spirits, but I believe from my perspective, I think the distilled spirits of agave in California or anywhere in the US is really a secondary, maybe even tertiary business, because really the big deal is biofuel. Using it for biofuel, because that will, I mean, they're already doing it. They're already doing it in South America. They're doing it in other countries. You and I we've had blue agave and other agave spirits from South Africa. We've had them from New Zealand, Germany, you know, and they're not all blue agaves. Some of them are other types that you make, you know, mezcal with. So I think they're on to something. I give them points. I give them props for what they're attempting to do. I think, you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I like what they're doing packaging wise, and obviously they're coming from a good place, but I'm just not overly impressed with what's in it.
Right, and I think that would be the next step. I think, in order to, this would be the beginning. You know, they're on the ground floor of something. It isn't perfect,
no,
but it's serving a purpose. And the fact that they're all engineers. I mean, you know, there's got to be a chemical engineer in that bunch somewhere, right? But I think they're on to something. I like this packaging. I think I would like to see this same kind of packaging, but with a 100%. And I'm not sure what the politics are. I'm not sure what the viability is, and whether something like this would be cost prohibitive or not, you know, for other companies. But I would like to see more of this. I would.
Yeah, I mean, packaging wasn't the kind of maybe the business model of all the recycling and that. Yeah, totally. You can't fault that. Do you know? It's like,
yeah.
You need more, regardless of whether you're someone that would believe in man-made climate change or not. You can't argue that having something that's that way designed is anything other than a good thing. I mean, it's just, you can't. It ticks the boxes.
Yeah, it does. Except for maybe in Felipe's case for flavor. For me, I got
you know,
as a mixto, it's a fairly reputable mixto. I'd like to know more about the percentage of agave, whether it's a 70-30, 60-40, something like that, because
yes, it's interesting what they've done, and you can see where they're coming from. Like with, you know, if it's their 4 cocktails, you know, then I can appreciate that. You're drinking an ingredient, we're reviewing an ingredient as opposed to the whole thing. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, you know, it's as Mixtos goes, it's just it has the same effect after 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know, you and I have kind of graduated from the Mixto part of it, but we do get, on occasion, we will get Mixtos, you know, sent to us as samples, and so we're just giving you the, you know, what our feelings are.
Yeah.
If you folks are watching us on YouTube and you've had this before, if you're out in the UK, out in Sweden somewhere, we get hits from all over the world, and you've had it. Tell us what you're doing with it. You know what you're paying for it. I have no idea what the cost is on this in Europe or in Sweden. I don't know what it's running at.
I didn't find a price for it anywhere.
Yeah, I would say though, source it, find it, because this could be, you know, for Mixto and for cocktails, depending on the location, might be a really good well tequila. I don't know. You know, I don't know. They can only go up from here, right? So, but anyway, folks, I think that we beat this horse to death. That's our take on Buen Vato. I will give it a Brand of Promise nominee. I think in the Mixto category, also add their packaging. Very big fan of what they're doing here, and you know, I would say support these guys. You know, if you want a tequila that you want to serve to your friends and you want something else a little bit better, a little more high end for yourself, this would be a great one just to share with, you know, somebody who doesn't know anything about tequila, I think.
Well, if someone's more turned on by what it comes in than what it actually is in it, then yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But anyway, that's our take on Buen Vato. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young man out there is.
Hello, goodbye. I'm Felipe from the UK. It's late at night. I've had a long week.
I didn't know you could speak all those languages. How do you say goodbye in Sweden? Swedish? I don't know. I just there's only I don't know. We'll have to go visit. I think we'll have to go take a. I don't know. How do you get there? By plane? I guess by plane. That's how the only way you can. I have no clue. This is a first for us.
Do you know where Sweden is?
Yeah, I know, right? I gotta look at a world map to see exactly where this is coming from. But I think it's. I gotta tell you, man, they're not going to stop. Every country, I think, is going to start seeing the globalization. We're already seeing it. The globalization of agave spirits. It's coming. We can't stop it, and it won't even surprise me if we see this in the U.S. one day. So, you know, I say bring it, you know, because that blue agave ain't going to survive forever. So,
give it a shot.
Yeah, might as well give it a shot. But then again, folks, you've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff, Tequila Aficionado Media. Please subscribe. Please follow us on our Instagram, our YouTube, anywhere where you like agave spirits, and whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.